What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle, possible only through years of research, inventions, and innovations. Living stereo.
Shut up and sit down.
I'm fairly sure it was like a Frank Sinatra or something along those lines, Grandad vinyl. Still to this day, I think I don't quite have my head around how it works in like a weird way. It's still kind of magical to me.
When like one of my parents put a record on, I was like, why would you do that when you can just put a CD in? And then over time I thought I appreciated it more, and I thought I like having this physical thing and the analogue sound almost of like the needle hitting on. I think it's something you appreciate definitely over time.
First records I actually got were in Berlin when my school was getting rid of all their classical music records they used for music teaching originally. So they were just handing out those to students, and I grabbed a few. And one of them I think was The Sound of Music, but an instrumental soundtrack that I then went home and put on the record player. And it was just a fun experience, so I'd say like that's amongst the first ones.
Having a vinyl makes you listen to a whole album. So it's sort of, if you look at something like Pink Floyd when they wrote The Wall, each song has its individual thing, but when you put it all together you get the actual story of what the album is. And I think people like it because it makes them listen to the whole album.
Glasgow's vinyl scene is really great. I properly got into vinyl when I moved here because there are just so many charity shops and second-hand vinyl shops where you can get lots of records for quite cheap.
We're all pretty friendly shops, and that's kind of the angle we go for in Glasgow.
And it kind of feels quite celebrated within the city.
You're not too far away from a record shop anymore.
When you've got like monorail and Love Music and stuff.
Record Store Day was first conceived in 2007 during a gathering of independent record store owners. Their idea was to spread their love of vinyl and celebrate the weird, wonderful world of independent record stores. The day is for record lovers,
Yeah, I've been here since last night, since 7:10.
record shop owners, record shop workers, and to come together and celebrate the unique world of independent record stores. Today, there is record stores participating in Record Store Day in every single continent apart from Antarctica.
We just had our first one. It was definitely a positive event. The event itself, the occasion, people coming down and never seen the shop, all super positive.
I think it started off as a good idea, and like back in like 2008, 2009 when smaller labels were getting attention, it was a really good thing.
As an event, as an occasion, I think it's great. It does need to stay.
And I know it brought a lot of attention to local record stores, but now it's just big companies like Sony and stuff just repressing the same albums there's 10 billion copies of already.
I think Record Store Day is about is kind of that companies release new pressings of vinyls and new releases that are limited edition and usually cost quite a lot of money, and I can't really afford that.
The negative aspects seem to come maybe from the smaller labels who don't get as much chance to push out what they want to push out. The bigger labels taking up pressing plants.
And that and like the Record Store Day flooding the market and the plants sort of affecting the people that was originally meant to help.
Definitely changing some wee ways, mostly in the sense that the guys who, the indie labels and the indie bands that are putting in the work and are doing the kind of exclusive releases get their due and get paid.
So this, for example, is a record that really means a lot to me. I bought it quite recently at Mono in Glasgow, but it's Buena Vista Social Club's self-titled album, which is like Cuban jazz, and my mother always had this CD playing back home when we were eating quiche that she made, so somehow it just brings back memories from those times. Yeah, so it's kind of linked to nostalgia and quite good music as well.
Villainy by Madvillain, which is MF Doom and Madlib. It's probably my favourite, one of my favourite records, definitely my favourite hip hop record, and it's the record I remember going from being interested in hip hop and rap to kind of fall in love with it and being obsessed with it. And it's the main reason probably why we do so much of it in the shop and why it's become kind of a staple of the shop. And it's become our biggest seller since we opened. Since October when we opened, we must have reordered this 10-15 times, 10 times ago, and it's been easily the biggest seller, the kind of biggest talking point of people who come in the shop as well, because maybe they haven't seen it, or we kind of talk about all the rap they haven't seen on vinyl before, and we get it in, and yeah, Madvillain seems to be the most popular.
This is an album that got me through a lot of things, because the lyrics aren't said in it, and like you don't, like even the lyric book doesn't have the lyrics. You take your own interpretation of the music and what you think it wants to mean, and just it's a really nice mix of heavy and really soft and mellow.
Vinyl's still relevant today just because it's kind of widely regarded as the best form of music media you're going to get. It's the best quality, so there's no real debate there.
Many people might not think it's that relevant because it's just so much easier to listen to music on YouTube or iTunes.
Vinyl's still relevant because I guess in one sense people like to have something that they can physically hold and they can go, this is where my money's went, and it retains its value a lot more than digital.
So it's, if you want physical music, you kind of have to go vinyl now, because the difference in audio quality between streaming and CD is not enough to make you ditch streaming altogether, just stick to CDs. Whereas the difference between having a vinyl and streaming is something that you make a conscious decision to buy a vinyl because you want to sit down and listen to it and because you want to have it in your collection.
But what I love about vinyl is kind of the social aspect to it that YouTube, for example, doesn't necessarily have. Like if people own record collections, you can exchange records and meet up and listen to records, which is what we do with the Vinyl Club here at the university that I co-founded a few years ago, where students get together every once in a while here in Jim's bar and we listen to records together, and you show other people your records and you meet new people and get introduced to new music, and it's a really fun experience that you don't get with necessarily digital music.
We kind of discover music through streaming and we go and commit to it through vinyl.